Alrighty guys, good morning. We are starting off the video out here in the shop again, and we're gonna work on getting this cross member in today. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching. I appreciate the support. So I'm gonna get pretty much right to work, but here is what we're looking at. So I'm gonna do a little measuring and see how I wanna go about getting this guy to match up with that guy. I think I gotta cut a little bit of a square, shove it through, and then weld a plate on the outside, but not exactly sure if that's the route that I wanna go. So cool thing is about this replacement is you can see it's substantially thicker than what was in there originally, and that should be good because I think you can see the problem through there. So like I said, gonna take a couple measurements, throw you guys on the time lapse, check in with you later. Hey guys, we're gonna try something new here. I'm gonna do a little voiceover. In this clip or this time lapse here, you can see me get started off with cutting out the old cross member with the Milwaukee hacksaw. I chose to go this route because it was gonna give me a little more access for the grinder for cutting out the rest of the cross member tie-in to the frame. And then in the next clip, you'll see me lower the cab off of the lift and tuck that back in the corner just so that I had more ability to raise and lower the frame and not be bent over working off the ground. And then you can see me starting to cut out that tie-in from the cross member to the frame. Alrighty, just checking in with you since the last time I saw you. I did cut the time lapse off because it kills my phone really fast, and I was just cutting and grinding, cutting and grinding. So I figured you can only see so much of that, but we have cross member mocked up. So my measurements are looking really good. It's fitting up really good. This is like an $80 eBay or Amazon cross member or something like that. Made in the worst place possible. But we got our end plates. So how I decided to do this was I originally just wanted to cut it flush with what was already there and just kind of butt weld this thing in there. But I kind of came to the realization that it was going to be a little hard to do that and still have the strength between the two pieces and be able to weld in there and all that fun stuff. So I wasn't going to do that. So I ended up, you can see this is a piece I cut out of the frame. So here's the outer part of the frame. I just cut a square. And then the inner part, I also cut, I guess, a 3-sided square because this is open. It's not a triangle, but it's 3-sided. I don't know. Anyways, this is the bottom, this is the top. So cut that out. And then I used the plates that were supplied with the kit, which looks like these guys. And those are put in there. So it's not permanently in place. I was kind of thinking about maybe throwing the gas tank up in there and mocking it up just to make sure that it fit before I did my final weld in. The other thing is I like how this is almost flush here. That looks really, really nice. The other side is not treating me as well, and I'm not sure if I need to even them out or what, but this side's a little bit long. I don't like that, so I will likely end up cutting that, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch off that or something. The other thing you might notice here is my plate did get a little skinny on me, so I tacked in with a nice little booger right there, a plate behind it, and then that'll give me the ability to just run like 2 beads right next to each other and not be blowing through. Or, I mean, you couldn't bridge that with a MIG welder, so at least with the thickness of steel I got here. So put a little plate behind there, I'll clean that up and cover it up. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with this. Took me about 3.5 hours so far, taking my time. You can see the hardest part about doing this is at the top, you got to get that plate off of there, and it's kind of like seam welded. So that is a little bit of pain in the butt. But anyways, going really good. Basically 3 of the 4 plates are in. The last thing we have to do is cut out the plate for in there. I'm probably gonna end up cutting out this bottom portion, same as I did on the side that you just saw that I'm standing on, because that wasn't too bad. So cut that out, put the new plate in there, and we're gonna burn this thing in the next time you see me. Alrighty guys, back, continuing this video. Gonna work on welding in this frame today. Let me flip around quick. Alrighty, so now you're looking at what I'm looking at. We're gonna burn this sucker in, the outside plate and the outside plate on the other side, and then we're gonna work on a little bit on the inside. You can see that plate's fitting up perfect, and we need to put a plate over here, but we're gonna have to get rid of this before we can put that plate in there. So no big deal. Figured out how to do that pretty easily. Wrote myself a note and said, hey, dummy, you gotta put a plate right there before you burn that thing in. So we're gonna work on that. See a little time lapse. Check in with you in a little bit.
Like goodbyes. Of course you love me now, but give it time. Who knows? You might not be in my life. We never see it coming when we try. Love is blind. You can break the pattern, learn from your mistakes, focus on what matters, do whatever it takes. You can look for answers, you could even change, but if something isn't meant to be, then we must learn to set it free.
Hey guys, just checking back in, catching up with you. I was working on that cross member, and I kind of realized as I was about to kind of do the final weld in on it that I wanted to put some pour 15 where I'm not going to be able to once the faceplate is on there, and then also like behind in that boxed part. And so that kind of got carried away, and here we are, well, about 3 hours later, and we have pretty much the back half's inside coated. So I did cross member, and the cross member back there with the spare tire area. Essentially what I did here is I went from torsion bar back and said, okay, where can't I spray with my primer sealer, and where can I spray, what's going to be hard to spray, and then also what's too rusty to spray. And so the inside is pretty much too rusty to spray, so that's why I ended up doing that pour 15. And I'll get you a little view back here. I did the back side because that was a little bit crusty too. So anything that looked like the side of this spare tire mount is what I did. So this stuff is pretty much all clean enough that a good wipe down and it will be able to take that primer sealer. But you can see the inside looks really good. So I'm pretty happy with that. Did do a couple spots on the outside that were rusty where my sandblaster didn't necessarily get, and also did a little bit on the front side, which I started taking off some of the wax while I was up here, but started doing a little bit on the bottom on the front side, and then that's actually clean metal right there, so you can't pour 15 clean metal. So that's starting to look really good. I'm pretty dang happy with the way that the frame looks. I do have to say, today, since I pour 15 this, I probably do have to mostly call it for the day, just because I can't necessarily weld right next to something that's curing. Even though I think the areas that I probably will weld, it'll burn up. At least if it's cured, then it maybe has a little bit better chance of staying where it's supposed to. So I think this is where I'm going to call the video. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much for sticking with us on pretty much the last of the frame fabrication and the boring frame videos. As soon as we get this thing painted, which should be really soon here, we're going to start dropping stuff in and making this look like a truck. So thanks again. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.